Hey, girlfriend. So I'm on here looking dusty, crusty, busted, and disgusted. But you know what? When your spirit makes you feel led to say something and to speak, like you just do it, right? So even though there ain't nothing cute over here right now, um, don't look at the physical. Just listen to the verbal. Just listen to the verbal. Okay, so there's some things that I want to say, and it's around this whole curly cut thing and some other things, because I think we need to heed the warning. And you know what? Knowledge is power, and you do with it what you please. And once you've been aware, if you decide to move in a different direction, totally your prerogative, but you can't say that you didn't know and you weren't made aware of what could possibly, occur. So with that said, let's get into it. But before we do, first off, welcome to your girls channel. If you're new here, go on and subscribe, because we're over here creating a fun community and doing all the things. So there we are with that. We done said welcome. If you have not subscribed to the channel already, then what you waiting for, sis? Like it don't get no better than this. Let's put a headband on, because just some level of cuteness. Oh, see how just you accessorize and how they can't pop it up. Ooh, she cute. She cute. Okay, so I'm frustrated because I went from questioning if curly cuts had truly, damaged my hair. What do I mean by that? Okay, so what I mean by that is in the way of not addressing all the split ends that was happening within my head of hair. So just to kind of go back a little bit, but I ain't gonna rehash the whole thing. I got a video. I don't know if I'll be able to, I don't know how to do it yet, but if I can, I'm gonna link it right here. If not, I don't have that many videos. Just go click and you'll see a video that says curly cuts, and bullying, something to that degree. Anywho, okay, so where was I? Oh, I know. Okay, so I had decided to start getting curly cuts. I, predominantly wear my hair in a wash and go like 99.9% of the time. And it was just going to make it, not make it easier, but it was going to give my hair a better shape for when I was wearing my wash and goes, where it would just kind of like fall into the shape and give me that three-dimensional look. Like, the shape would be shaping. Okay, so there's that. Well, I got a year's worth of curly cuts, and I noticed that even after having got a significant amount of haircut, that as I was going, that my hair just progressively got harder to detangle, harder to style. It's almost like my hair started to feel like Velcro at the ends. And I would get another curly cut. Well, I would be like, okay, it's just time for, my maintenance trim. So then I would get a maintenance trim, and it would get a little bit easier, but then shortly thereafter, it would be right back to that same kind of struggle bus feeling of it was hard to detangle. It was harder to style. Fast forward, got it blown out, got it assessed, and lo and behold, I had a boatload of split ends. And not only did I have a boatload of split ends, but my hair was very hard. It felt very dry. It was like rough to the touch, like all these things. Not only that, if you've been following me on Instagram, I'm always doing lives, and I just be doing what Jesus loves, and that's tell the truth. And it's just my personal experience, right? That doesn't mean that it holds true across the board for everyone. But my experience was such that I just had started developing all these issues. And that was after I implemented the BlackGirICurls, methodology around hair care. Well, what is that if you're not familiar with it? Well, it's where you wash your hair routinely, which is a good thing, and you condition it with just a rinse out conditioner. And you use different shampoos based off of like your activity level, your lifestyle, you know, what you have going on. You'll implement what's called an all-purpose shampoo and then chase it with a moisturizing shampoo. And periodically you'll use clarifying shampoo. So there's the spectrum of shampoos, what makes sense. And you use those according to, like I said, your lifestyle and what you have going on with your hair and blah, blah, blah. And that all makes sense. However, they suggest, and if I'm wrong, go ahead and correct me in the comments. Like, leave a comment and be like, nah, sis, you're ill-informed. That's not what it is. That's not what they said. You over here spreading mistruths. Okay, so just correct me, because I'm Gucci with it. I'm here to learn too. Anyways, from my understanding and going through their Cease and Curls online, you know, learning platform for how to manage and handle your hair, which, by the way, it's been greatly appreciated, because what they've done for women of color in terms of helping us, you know, understand our hair better and show up confident and our best selves and feeling more, you know, polished, wearing our natural hair. Like, no one can take that away from them. Like, no one. And we shouldn't try, because I think that that's a positive and beautiful thing. However, there might be some things that could need a little tweaking with the hair care methodology that they are recommending. Okay. So, what do I mean by that? Well, my understanding and what I did was I feel like I followed everything to the T. Like, I'm one of those types of people. If you share something with me and I buy into it, honey, I go 100%. Like hook, line, and sinker. I take the bait, okay? And not saying it was bait, but y'all know what I'm saying. I stopped using leave-in conditioners because my understanding was that you didn't need them, that as long as you were washing your hair routinely and using a rinse-out conditioner and using the appropriate shampoos and that sort of thing, that you didn't need a leave-in. That water was the most moisturizing agent that you could put in your hair, and once you washed your hair, you rehydrated it, you re-moisturized it, and then you would use these humectant based gels like Uncle Funky's Curly Magic, Innersense I Create Hold, that sort of thing. Put that in your hair, and those would hold the water and possibly, you know, attract water, depending on if you lived in a humid environment or not. And then you could put a topper gel on top, and that would be an anti-humectant topper gel to help ward off the humidity, like protect you from the humidity if you lived in a humid place. I was doing all of that. I was washing with regularity, using my rinse out conditioner. I felt I was using the appropriate shampoos. And then I would put in my styling gels. Uncle Funky's was, you know, legit what I deviated to as far as a base gel. My favorite combination, just to put it out there, it was Uncle Funky's I Create Hold and Trepador's Bamboo Ginseng. And they're all, I mean, to my understanding, really good products. However, I did develop a sensitivity, or I have an allergy to possibly the botanical based gels, but that's a whole different thing. Okay, let's keep going. The gist of it is that I was doing all the things that we're supposed to do. And then you're not supposed to air dry. You're supposed to sit under a hooded dryer or diffuse or combination thereof. And I had early on predominantly sat under a hooded dryer. Okay. And I would sit under it under high heat. And I kept asking the question. I was like, is this okay? Because it's heat. And, you know, curly girls are kind of, and curly guys, if there's any curly guys watching, hey, welcome. And thank you for subscribing to my channel too. Okay, so I kept asking, you know, with sitting under a hooded dryer, are there any concerns? Like, should we be using a heat protectant? Like, is it okay? And they were like, yeah, like you're using indirect heat, so it's fine. There's a difference between direct and indirect and blah, blah, blah. And it's okay. You Gucci, sis. You're fine. But for me, I started noticing a change in my hair. And first I thought, like, all the things were magical and great. And I had finally been given the magical key to unlock everything, you know, to my hair, to walk around with my best hair. And my hair looked really good for a moment. And it continued to look good, but there was a struggle, like I said, with detangling and styling and all the things. And it even became a struggle with product application. But what I now realize, my hair was looking good, you know, on the outside, it was looking good, actually kind of great. But the reason why, I don't think it was because of this new system that I was using. I think it was because I had gotten so good at my product application. Like literally, if there was an area in my hair that was kind of looking suspect, honey, I could just, and like, it would look like I didn't have any sort of issues or whatever. But that's just, you know, a skill set I think that you acquire along the way of mastering your wash and goes. And I can say that I've gotten really, really good at doing wash and goes, so much so that I do them during my Instagram lives all the time, which you have to be pretty confident, you know, to do a wash and go on a live. Like, your skill set is really good at that point. I mean, I would argue to say that. I mean, would you argue to say that? I would say that that's the case, because I don't think everyone would feel comfortable doing that, because they're like, what if I walk away looking like a tumbleweed, you know, and I done showed all these people? That's embarrassing, you know. I don't know. Anyways, I felt pretty confident. So I'm doing these, you know, wash and goes, and then I'm sitting under the hooded dryer. And over time, I just noticed that the front of my hair started with the very front, and then it started to spread through the crown of my hair. And the texture of my hair changed. It was almost like it became more coarse. It was just a different texture from my hair. And I'm going to insert some pictures just to show you what I'm talking about, how it goes from being more smooth and kind of silky versus like very kind of coarse. And I couldn't understand what was going on. And so on my lives, I started telling people, I'm like, you know, I don't know for sure, but I feel like the hooded dryer is somehow damaging my hair. Now, fast forward, I don't know still if that's the case, but once I kind of felt like I was connecting the dots for myself, for my head of hair, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to use the hooded dryer anymore. I'm strictly going to just diffuse, because I feel like there's something going on with sitting under that hooded dryer for an extended period of time. And oh, by the way, I started washing my hair like 2 times a week and then sitting under that hooded dryer. And I was like, something's off with this. I don't know what it is. Now, present time, I feel like what was wrong with it was the lack of using deep conditioners and leave-ins, or something that was more moisturizing for the hair. And then just going in, you know, with the humectant gels and then the anti-humectant gel, like just going in straight with gels and not using any leave-ins. I feel like from doing that and not deep conditioning over a year, I feel like it just over time had a negative impact on my hair overall. And then you factor in the curly cuts, and honey, it done became a real situation. So now I'm no longer getting curly cuts. As you know, I'm getting my hair cut on blown out hair. You don't have to blow your hair out. If you're adverse to putting direct heat in your hair, you can do it stretched. I'm not telling you. I'm just saying that if it's something that you're thinking about, you could simply stretch your hair through like a twist out, a braid out, a flexi rod set, and get your ends assessed. Anywho, like, that's neither here nor there for me, because I don't mind getting mine blown out, because my girl, she's amazing, and she's using heat protectant and all the things and very low heat. And for me, it's worth it to get my hair assessed and get it trimmed. So since then, since kind of coming to the realization that for my head of hair, that sitting under the hooded dryer might be doing something weird to my hair in a negative regard, and not using leave-ins and not using deep conditioning treatments, I have since gone back to re-implementing deep conditioners, adding back in leave-ins, and just so you know, this is what I've been using, the Kinky Curly Not Today leave-in. And the 2 deep conditioners that I've been using, I used the Amika Soul Food, and then I used the Shea Moisture Manuka Honey Intensive Hydration Hair Mask. I have to tell you that my hair feels day and night different. Like, it feels so much better. It doesn't feel dry and hard and rough and just all those things. It feels softer to the touch. It feels more hydrated, more moisturized. Well, I think it was always hydrated. It just wasn't moisturized. So it feels more moisturized. I'm very mindful of the products that I'm using. And I'm in a weird situation right now where I'm trying to rule out stuff that I'm allergic to and, you know, try new stuff that doesn't feel ultra drying to my hair and just all those things. However, overall, even with all of that said, my hair feels so much better. Matter of fact, this is day, oh my gosh, what day is this? 6? Or is this 7? Ooh, I don't know. But my hair feels really good still, looks really good, but I will be washing her today. I had planned to wash her before that, but I've just been busy. And my styler is Alakay Naturals Lemongrass Hold It Styling Gel. I should have a video going up, or it should be up, or will come after this video. Anyways, about that gel, and it's amazing. Just spoiler alert, like thebomb.com. Can you see that? I don't know. Like, oh, well, now it looks kind of crusty going up in there. But anyways, she's cute. She's super cute. Like, yes, very, very cute. Okay, let's just continue. Oh my gosh, I get off on these tangents, honey, and it's like, bring it back, Shelly. Bring it back. And why am I always wearing a gray shirt in videos? I don't know. Y'all would think that I don't have more than one gray shirt, but this is a different gray shirt. This is anyways, it don't matter. Bring it back, Shelly. So since I've been talking about this, Rosie Amelia's been talking about this, the African hair god, Narada, he's been talking about this extensively. He's done several videos on it. Rosie Amelia did some videos on it as well. But African hair god, he's a stylist if you don't know who he is. And he just has been on top of it. And from his personal point of view, he's like, something is just not right. And it's not. What is in my throat? Okay, let me stop. But something's just not right. And it needs to be addressed. So since then, there was a live. And the 2 co-founders of Cut It Kinky and BlackGirICurls, Elise and Aisha, they were both on the live. And they were talking about curly cuts versus straight cuts. A few curly friends sent it to me. And I jumped on and I was listening. And when they got to the part about that curly cuts do address, wait, what did she say? She said curly cuts are good for maintaining the hair, that they do address all the ends of the hair. And once she said that, I jumped into the comments and I just asked, can you please explain to me why after getting a year of curly cuts, my hair was split so badly? Like the ends of my hair were split really badly. And honey, it just kind of snowballed from there. And whew, like it was, when I tell you it takes a lot to like jump in to the comments and ask questions and say things that aren't really favorable, because like when you do a live, okay, from your platform, let me just tell you this. If you're on Instagram and you're doing a live from your platform, all the people that follow you as a influencer or just someone they're following, they're your friend. Like they're looking at everything you're saying and they're usually like this. Okay. And so when Elise joined from Cut It Kinky and Aisha joined, I think from her personal page. I don't think she joined from I Am BlackGirICurls. I honestly don't know. But either way, Instagram notifies all of their followers like, hey, this person is doing a live and they're doing it in partnership with this other person. So you get notification if you follow them like, hey, Elise and Aisha are on live, like Cut It Kinky and I Am BlackGirICurls are on a live together. All your followers see that and they jump on. So I say all that to say that, like, here all of their followers are jumping in and they're more than likely individuals that are viewing what they're sharing in more of a positive light versus, you know, negative or somewhere in between. That's just keeping it 100. That's just, you know, doing what Jesus loves and telling the truth. So then for me to pop into the comments and start questioning, asking questions, like hard questions to, hey, I've had a negative experience. Can you address these concerns and questions? Like, you know, that might have kind of gone over like a turd in a punch bowl, okay? Like, whoo, child, that was, it was an intense conversation. But to Lisa's credit, more so, like, she was like, hey, this was an intense, uncomfortable conversation. I'm uncomfortable, but this needs to be had. So I give her so much credit for that, like, so much credit. So during the whole interaction, you know, and it was hard because I'm in the comments trying to type and ask questions and then respond to certain things that are being said. Rosie Amelia, she jumps in the comments. She's saying stuff as well, asking for answers to her concerns. Oh, and then Narada, the African hair god, you know, he was in the comments and he was, you know, asking certain questions from a stylist perspective and all of that. So it was pretty much the three of us, and there were almost 300 people viewing the live. And it just, it was kind of challenging. And then someone felt like I was gaslighting and stuff. And I'm like, how is asking questions about experiences that I've had with my hair, that Rosie has had with her hair, and oh, by the way, several other girlfriends who are afraid to speak up for obvious reasons, right? For what I'm going through and Rosie's going through, mostly what I'm going through, because somehow, even though I'm not the only one, I've become the face of it and the voice to it. And you know, it's like everybody's like, oh, Shelly, oh, Shelly, oh, Shelly. Like Rosie's name came up and Aisha was like, who's Rosie? But everybody knows, you know, Shelly. You know, Shelly's creating this whole, you know, thunderstorm around curly cuts and stuff. But that's okay because look, my voice shakes. I'm like, no, but that's okay because I feel like I'm doing the right thing. I feel like I'm standing up for people who are afraid to speak for themselves. And I kept saying there's other individuals who are sliding into my DMs. They're sharing, you know, the fact that they've had the same experience that, you know, Narada has seen in his salon. And people kept saying, if you're afraid, then why are you putting out content around this? It's for likes and views and entertainment. And I'm like, no, like I'm doing it to, number one, it started with just me sharing my experience. I had no idea that it was going to get this big and crazy. I was simply sharing my experience like I had been doing. And I'm sorry if by sharing my experience, because I'm not doing backflips and it's all unicorns and rainbows, that now it's a problem. But it's funny that when I was like going, oh my gosh, black girl curls and curly cuts and, you know, yes, and posting about it and talking about it, that everybody was cool. But as soon as you say, oh, Houston, there's a problem, now all of a sudden, you know, like I'm a bad person or whatever. But I'm not gonna have my voice stifled. I'm not going to be quiet and stop talking about my experience and stop talking about the fact that several people are sliding into my DMs and sharing the fact that they're experiencing the same thing, and have people accuse me of just talking about it and creating content around it for likes and views and it just being entertaining. Because There's no amount of likes, there's no amount of views, there's nothing entertaining about having damaged hair after you've paid thousands of dollars for services and bought all these expensive products that aren't bad products, by the way, but bought all these expensive products and used a particular methodology just to turn around and be told that your hair is like damaged, and you've gotten routine cuts and your hair is all split up and it looks like it's been chewed up and spit out. Like, there's nothing entertaining about that, and there's no likes or views that I want. Oh my gosh, like it's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. Like take back all the likes, take back all the views. Like, I would rather not be making any of these videos and just being like, oh my gosh, my hair is amazing, this is phenomenal, like everybody needs to do this. Like, I'd much rather be getting views and likes and entertaining people for those purposes, not this, not this. So during that live, after those accusations were made, which I understand what they were saying, they're like, hey, if you had a problem, sis, why didn't you just come to me directly? You know, we got an inbox. You could have just been like, hey, I have these concerns, blah, blah, blah. That's totally understandable. But number one, I was just sharing my experience. It started out with me just sharing my experience. I never thought that it was going to go to this degree. I did talk about it on lives and all of that, and I talked about my experience in Rosie Amelia's video. Once it started building some traction, then I created my video, because after I started talking about it, then there was some bullying and stuff that took place. Anywho, once it started building that traction, then I, just started talking about it more and more because people were asking questions about it. And quite honestly, I didn't feel comfortable sliding into anybody's DMs and talking directly, because Aisha, just from my experience with her, and it started in Black Girl Curls, and then watching her on I Am Black Girl Curls during her lives, I feel like she can have a very aggressive tone in how she speaks to people, and I am someone that I just don't do well with that, and I stopped following them. Like, I unsubscribed to all their stuff because I'm like, that's not enjoyable to watch her engage with other women of color on that level. Like, that's bothersome to me. She says it's because she's from Chicago and Elise is from Chicago and that's just how they are. But I have plenty of friends that are from Chicago and they don't talk to, people like that. But, that's neither here nor there. I can't control how other people treat other people and speak to other people and address other people. I can only just, handle myself and what I do. So I just didn't feel comfortable sliding into the DMs. But to Elise's credit, she was like, look, sis, if you have issues, you don't have to deal with Aisha. And I even said in that live, I was like, I'm open to having a conversation, but not with Aisha. With you, Elise, yes, all day long, I'm open to having a conversation. And so we have since talked, and I did share with her, I don't want to do it privately because people are asking questions, and I don't want my words misconstrued or taken out of context, and I don't want her words taken out of context either. So I think, and not for views and likes and entertainment, because like I said, there's nothing entertaining about this. It's very frustrating. Anyway, so I'm like, let's just do it live that way, because people are going to continue to ask me about it. That way your voice can be heard, mine can be heard in real time, and no one can take what we're saying out of context, because I'm not coming back regurgitating it of what you said in our private conversation and vice versa. So we have agreed to do that. When that will happen, I don't know. But I have a lot of questions, because not only do I have questions around curly cuts, but I have questions around the whole just, hair care methodology and just everything, because there's something that's fully not right with all of it. And for me personally, I'm starting to see that it's beyond curly cuts. And I know a lot of people have had nothing but a great experience, but I would challenge you to possibly stretch your hair or get it blown out, in a responsible manner by a professional, and just check the integrity of your hair, the health of your hair from root to tip, and see what that looks like. And if things are great, I love it for you. But if it's not, then you'll feel the level of frustration that a lot of us are experiencing right now. So anyways, curl friends, that's where we currently are, and we shall see. I'm looking forward to the live interaction with Elise. And hey, curl friends. Okay, I just have to pop in because there's been some updates since the filming of this video. So what are the updates? Elise and I will not be getting together and chatting. She had reached out to me in the DMs, as I had stated earlier in the video, and she had sent me the Cut It Kinky cutting guide. And long story short, I had my niece help me to download it. Elise saw that my niece was helping me download it. I didn't show it or share it with anyone other than having my niece help me download it. And Elise felt like I had acted in bad faith by having my niece help me. I tried to explain what had occurred, because I know I do YouTube and social media, but just because you do that doesn't mean that you're stellar with technology, and I certainly am not. I also primarily do everything from my phone right now, and I had some storage issues, so I was concerned that if I tried to download it through my phone, I would have issues. So I had my niece help me, and I wasn't trying to hide that or anything. Anyways, Elise saw that, felt like I had acted in bad faith, that I was trying to share it or show it, and she cut off all communication, which is fine, because hindsight, I just feel like maybe because I had stated that I didn't want to do the conversation privately, that I wanted to do it publicly for everyone to see so that we could move forward in full transparency. Maybe that opportunity was taken to just kind of shut everything down. I don't know, but that's kind of how I am viewing it now. I did originally feel really bad, like I felt like I had done something wrong. But like I said, hindsight, I look at it and I don't feel that way any longer. I just feel like when something happens, if you have an issue with it, you have to communicate it out, and you have to allow the other person, at least give them the grace to explain themselves, because you may be taking what occurred or what was said in the wrong manner. So that conversation will not be taking place, which is a shame, but it is what it is. Matter of fact, BlackGirICurls and Cut It Kinky have since blocked me from their social media pages, which is also fine, because I had mentioned earlier in the video, I had unsubscribed to their platforms because I just honestly had a sour taste in my mouth with how they were talking to other women of color and their interactions, and just my overall frustration with the lack of answers to all these concerns and issues and questions. And then there's something else that I want to address and make sure that we're clear on. The topic of utilizing leave-ins and deep conditioning treatments. Now, when I was in Season Curls, I distinctly recall them discouraging the use of leave-ins as well as deep conditioning treatments. They said that by using deep conditioning treatments, we were just adding to, our wash day in an unnecessary manner, and that if we needed a deep conditioning treatment, it would be prescribed by a tight curl specialist, because it's a treatment. And the only time we would need a treatment is if they told us. I personally have worked with 2 Cut It Kinky stylists, and neither one of them ever suggested that I use a deep conditioning treatment whatsoever in my hair. It wasn't until I got my hair blown out and assessed that stylist highly recommended that I go back to using deep conditioning treatments. That's the first thing. The second thing is with the leave-ins, I know I've seen content, and I'm going to include something right now, where Aisha was stating that there was no need for a leave-in under a wash and go, because if you used one, it would make it to where your style would not last very long. And I think she was even surveying stylists to say, hey, how many of you use the leave-in underneath your clients' wash and goes? And how many of your clients would be, happy or not if you did that and then their style didn't last. So anyways, I feel like it was highly discouraged. Now, around the point of butters and oils, My understanding, and a lot of other curly friends, was that we were highly discouraged from using any butters and oils. But let's kind of quantify that. Raw oils and butters. That I understand. But we never have said that Black Girl Curl said that we could not use products that contained butters and oils within them. They did, however, say that we should steer away from products that had, and they gave a certain list of oils and butters that were contained within the first 5 ingredients in any given product. Now, people want to argue and say, oh, that was only within the first 30 days, that 30-day hair detox. But I feel like we all were highly encouraged to get rid of and stop using any products that had those particular oils and butters in the first 5 ingredients. And a lot of us did not go back to using them because we were looking at the curated list and we were going off the curated list of products that was recommended for our hair. With that said, once again, no one is saying that they said that we couldn't use products in general that had oils and butters in them. It was just limited to that first 5 ingredients. But anyways, it's neither here nor there, but I personally feel like I've been misled and misguided in terms of curly cuts and what I should be using in my hair in terms of leave-ins, deep conditioning treatments, and that sort of thing. I don't have an issue with the stylers, but for my personal hair, I realize that I need a protective layer between my hair and the gels that I'm applying to my hair or any foams or what have you. Now, if your hair is thriving, sis, listen to me. If your hair is thriving and you have no issues and your hair, you're loving it, if you like it, I love it. But if you're someone that you're like, okay, I've noticed webbing, I've noticed Velcro ends, I've noticed these things, my hair feels dry, my hair is not behaving properly, you may want to heed the warning and have your hair assessed. That's all I'm saying. You know, don't shoot the messenger. Like, this is hard to do. It's easy to speak up when everything's gravy and hunky-dory, but it's hard to speak up when, you know, things are less than ideal. Anyways, it's been a lot. But I promised that I would share my story, and I promised that I would be true to my followers, and I promised that I would just share my real truth. And it would be disingenuous of me to move in any other way but that. You know, no matter how hard it is or, you know, how people come at you. So, I'm not just doing it for my hair. And I'm not doing it for likes and views and all of that. I'm doing it because, you know, it's the right thing to do. And I'd be wrong not to be honest with my experiences. Anyways. Until next time. Bye, curl friends.